right, so it should be going live. Let's see.
All right. Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. Okay.
Oh, well, what happened there?
Deeply devastated. Fresno County raw milk dairy loses creamery to Blaze. Owner
Oh, are you
says
playing a news story?
Fresno
What was
County
that?
dairy.
Oh,
Okay.
is that your, yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know you guys could get the.
Yeah, we're hearing that.
Oh shit!
Okay. Now I need to click. It's freaking me out. Deeply deaf. Now, all right. Now someone's playing their YouTube. What's happening here?
I was playing my YouTube for a second and then so you probably heard that. And now I
think my own was on.
muted.
Whoops. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Nothing to see here, people. Oh my god. Out of curiosity, I hopped on iTunes. I downloaded iTunes, I should say, to check out if there's any reviews or ratings of the show on there. And the only person that reviewed, left any comments, was very fond of Jane being a part of the show.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Now I'm curious. I actually got an iPhone. This is something I can talk about on the pod too.
Oh yeah, that we'd like to hear about. That's a major life update, you know.
I do have thoughts.
I mean, it's good because I've been thinking about switching over, so we'll see. I'll read the review when we start the episode, or as we start the episode.
Okay, I think I just shared it. Okay, there we go. Okay, all right, Jane, it captured you. Okay. I said we're live now.
Hi.
What's up,
Hello.
YouTube? Hope you all are doing well today.
I was looking at trying to read the description for Licorice Pizza.
Oh, really?
It's a coming of age comedy drama. Sean Penn.
There's some interesting small, like Sean Penn has a small role, Bradley Cooper.
I was honestly surprised by Sean Penn being. I was like, what the fuck is he doing here?
The whole movie
It's
was
the first
kind of,
name that I
had that
noticed.
reaction to the whole movie.
I'm more surprised that you went to check out Spider-Man of all things.
Oh yeah. No, I've been on a movie kick. So I have this friend who really likes going to the movies. So I've just been tagging along, and like I haven't been in movies since way before COVID, not because I was scared or anything, but
Right.
I just haven't. So I kind of like it. I'm into it now. Yeah, I've shown stupid vax card, which I'll probably.
I've never had
You
to
should
show
have to
anything
call
when I
it-
go to the theaters.
Where do you
should
go?
really have to call it your papers.
I go to Dine-In Cinemas. They have very few locations here nearby. One in Glendale, one in Burbank. It's pretty funny.
They don't look.
No, when I went to go watch West Side Story with my mom a couple weeks back, we just literally walked in. We didn't show our tickets. None of the employees walked up to us. We just walked to the movie theater and just sat down.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, kind of made me want to try go and like just sneak into a movie one day without even fucking. Because if it's that lax, fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
Are y'all ready?
I have the same experience. We have the same experience here.
Sick. 3,
Yeah.
2, 1.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
Damn it, Chris.
Are we gonna announce on Facebook or?
Oh yeah, have you
I think I
announced?
did.
Okay.
I did.
So we just waiting.
Just in our group. So.
Okay. You ready now, Chris?
Sure. So 91, is that right? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Endless Ranters. Welcome back for episode 91 of your Endless Ranters podcast. Thank you for watching, listening, subscribing. We truly appreciate all of the support. My name is Chris, but I am just one of your Endless Ranters podcast hosts for this evening. Tonight, filling in for Robbie Spotlight, we have the lovely and talented Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hello. Good to be back here, guys. Thanks for inviting
up?
me.
Yeah, great to have you back.
Yeah,
Of course.
I know. It's like old times.
Just like old times, almost. Yep. And then there's the man with the plan. It's producer Manny. What's going down, old man?
Yo, I figure since we have Jane here, let's take a quick moment to read one of the reviews from the selection that we have up on iTunes. It's actually Jane centric. Yeah.
This is newly unearthed, a newly unearthed review.
Exactly. By Lexi Horan 143. Jane, great addition. Looking forward to having you back in my queue. That's it.
Back in your queue.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I didn't know you were in someone's queue, but all right.
Okay. Lexi, thank you.
Yeah.
If you're out there.
So we're like, all right, so Jane's got like another life going on or something like that.
She's in the cloud. She's in the movies.
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, I do have another project on the horizon. In the podcast realm.
Ask you about that.
Yeah. So a little birdie gave me the idea, and maybe I'll reveal that somewhere down the line who this was, but to do a Corolla ACS centered recap show. So I paired up with a friend of mine that I've met through the barbecue, actually. So his name's Vince. I don't know if any of you know him out there. He's not a social media guy, so you don't know him from the group. But if you've listened to enough, like I think on Water Cooler, they'll bring him up. He's the guy who brings pies to the office. So he's kind of known as like the pie guy a little bit. So
I gotta get to know this pie guy.
Yeah, so he's from Pasadena, Manny.
No shit. I want to know where he sources his pie from now.
He hasn't told me yet. He has like kept it secret.
There's very few shops around here, so I don't know. Or maybe he just goes out to the Valley to 4 and 20, and for old time's sake. I'm
not sure, but the guys at the studio rave about it, the pies. So that's sort of where you might be familiar with him. So it's called Corolla Deep Dive. I'm still working on the artwork for it. So once I have that, and hopefully like a week or two, it's been kind of a while. So because Vince and I have been actually recording on our own without launching pretty regularly, just to get into a rhythm of it. Okay. Yeah.
Those just dry run episodes kind of, or are you?
Yeah. And we're recording, and I've learned the editing and all that. So it's fun. Like it's just, we kind of go through that week of ACS, touch on the topics that we thought were interesting. We kind of get into Adam's psyche a little bit. So just, he's great because he has a lot of deep Adam knowledge. Like he's been a fan since like the Loveline days. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little newer, so he's a good, like, he brings the knowledge to it.
Very
so
cool.
yeah, it's fun.
Very cool. Well, when you guys start going live or start dropping your episodes,
for sure, I'll let you guys know.
Come back and introduce it or whatever. Yeah. Tell us where to find it. So
let me sit in on some of these recordings too.
Oh yeah. Well, we're we tend to do it on the weekends. That's going to be the challenging part, is timing of, we record, we want to release it pretty close to the end of the week, so it's fresh, right? So that's going to be that'll be the challenge on my end. So
I've been a pretty good Adam Carolla listener recently, which isn't saying much because they were on a break for a while.
Yeah.
So I was well caught up, and then, actually I'm not. I haven't been this new year, but no, I've usually caught up, but I always worried about that when Jaden and I first started. We were, going to kind of talk about more Adam Carolla stuff, is that, we always weren't caught up, and, like what if, or, falling behind. I don't know. So yeah, it's a challenge, like keeping up and then, Yeah.
Right. You got to
cool.
embrace the 1.8 speed.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I actually re-listen now because
that's right. You save a lot of time. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So
Yeah.
I'll listen at normal speed, but then I'll re-listen to episodes. Like I try to take notes as I listen now because I want to reference.
Sure.
It's so much. And it's funny because Vince is like so much better than me. We have like this shared spreadsheet and his notes are he's like the good student. He's like the A student with his notes. And I'm just like,
He's
bad
outshining
typos. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's kind of, we'll see. And part of me is I get stressed sometimes and I gotta re-listen. What did they talk about in that interview? And anyway, and we're trying to keep it, fun and lighthearted, not like super political or anything. Because
and the plan is to do
we have enough of that in our lives. What?
It's a weekly episode that covers that week.
Yes. Okay. That is the goal. So I tried to. Now we're calling it Corolla Deep Dive. I went through a few title ideas that I actually wanted to call it Get It On. So here's what's funny. First, it was called Get It On. And then we'll get into this later, but I switched to an iPhone from Android and I started getting the pop-ups for the what do you call it? Apple Podcasts. And I realized
it's unclear. It's just podcast app or podcasts. That's the app's name is podcasts. I think.
So Gio's podcast, the classic Love Line that he puts out is actually called Get It On. Like it's in the title.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And
it's in the title on the Apple Podcast. But when I had my Android, it was not. It was just like like classic Love Line. It wasn't in the main part of the title. So I reached out to him because I didn't want to step on his toes or anything. It was so nice about it. But he's like, yeah, you probably want to come up with something else. Research engine.
Oh, it's so good you found out because it would have been like,
I know.
Been kind of awkward. Like, he'd be like, what is this bee doing?
And then I had requested artwork with that title. And luckily that whole thing fell through. It took 2 months of me bugging him and it just fell
ice
through.
Sculpture, for the opening party. Thank God you didn't put that deposit down.
So I kind of scrapped all this. And that's why it's been taking a while because I've had this idea for like months now. And Vince and I've been recording for a while. And so I'm ready to like get going. So
Deep Dive's good because you could you could kind of.
It keeps it flexible.
It does exactly. Yeah.
So if we start if it starts to get hard to record every week, we can just be like, here's like the latest,
or if you want to go more. Yeah. If you wanted to go more and just cover like
1 week is a lot. You have no idea how much he talks about in a week.
Well, what if you didn't want to cover it wasn't just about that week because you're not really locking yourself into the last calendar week, because it could be like you do a deep dive on like one of Adam's, whatever crate training theory, which I wanted to talk about later.
Right. Well, we could. I just tried
or like his bigger than that, like Adam's, his like growth through media over the years and like what he's doing now, like with
I mean, I'm trying to strike a balance with, being serious, like talking seriously about him versus just keeping it lighthearted. And
that's true. You got to stick to it.
Yeah.
Not us though. No.
Loose and goose is the motto.
That's right.
Show.
That's right. That is right. So anyway, well, that's good. Thanks for letting us know about it. And that's really exciting. For
letting me give you a little preview.
Hell yeah.
Sure. So what else is going on with you, Jane? I think you've got some life-changing news you're telling us about.
Oh, not
regarding technology.
Oh,
your phone.
Yeah. Back in November, I made the switch from a Pixel 2 to an iPhone 13.
Pixel 2.
Yeah, I know. It was an old phone. It was getting bad. So, and I have some mixed feelings about this whole thing. And I know, Manny, you're
thinking
contemplating this switch. And I will say my biggest gripe right now, and maybe I need to look at my settings somewhere. The autocorrect is abysmal. Like I still can't get it.
On the iPhone, really? Yeah.
It still thinks so I swipe And maybe it's on me that I don't swipe
you do
well.
that weird. That's right. You do that weird thing. That's right.
Yeah, but okay. So I tried to A-N-D. Which
Okay,
is
it wasn't that good.
Of,
No. Okay, it wasn't that good when you were on your Pixel 2.
Hey,
sorry.
It was better. Trust me.
But please go on. Sorry.
Okay, it does not for the A-N-D. It thinks it's abs, ABS, or Anna. Anna. Like I don't have an Anna in my life. And it just can't like figure out like, okay, a little overswept.
Oh, you have someone in your phone book. Yeah, there's someone in your phone book probably.
But
in
I'm
your
not
contacts.
talking to it that I'm constantly talking about. Like really?
I know. It's really.
Or
you're right about that. You're right about that.
So this isn't swiping. This is just the word A. I will hit S instead, and it won't autocorrect to A. Like, how does it not autocorrect to A?
I don't know.
That's so bad. It's been okay. They say, oh, it has to learn you. Oh no, I've had this now for 2 months.
Yeah.
So
I heard a lot of that.
I don't know what it is about me, but it is not learning.
I do remember back in the day when the iPhone still first had like voice commands, you had to like go through the alphabet and you had to like say words so it would learn your speech. I don't think that.
Oh, maybe I should get into voice.
Maybe it's just been saving everything. I don't know. But yeah, no, I gotta say, like I'm having flashbacks when we used to text a lot and a lot more. You used to do that zigzaggy thing on the keypad that I've never seen anyone else do before.
We should do a poll. Who swipes and you had
I think you might be the only one.
It's so annoying. It's so
we could do a poll.
We could do
a poll.
Sure. Okay.
By swipe, do you mean use the feature where you're essentially writing on your keyboard instead of like
I'm swiping over the keyboard like
letter to letter, like never taking your finger off the phone.
Oh,
well, you do.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. Look at Manny.
Done that. I've never done that.
I like to enter Manny's face as evidence. His response was like, "What the fuck?"
I've been doing this for years, and I mean, once I discovered it, I felt like
I did not even know it existed before I met you.
Okay, Bruin Backhand's a swiper. Thank you, Bruin Backhand.
Figures. I
I
bet Bruin Backhand is that Lexi somebody that review left us.
Maybe coming into this Jane's defense on her keyboard swiping technique. Aside from the
it's pretty hard. It's to me, it's like very it feels very unnatural to do that.
Because you haven't tried it. Because you have to do like there's a learning curve. I don't know. I was sold immediately.
Okay.
I'm tempted to try it right now, actually, just to see if it works on my phone.
Hey Manny, when you do it, just text our group something, but just make a lot of mistakes.
You got it, boss.
Sweet. All right. So okay.
Yeah, well, I think Manny wanted to know if there were any other gripes.
Yeah, any other besides the atrocious autocorrect.
There's like a lot of messages. Oh, your screen time went up 11% per day last week, and just I can probably tell it to shut up, but it's like the default, and it annoys me. It's a little too good vibey.
Trying to be way too helpful, and really what it's trying to do is just be way more intrusive into your life, and like more data about when you go to sleep, and like not only when you want to go to sleep, when you want to wake up, but like when would you like me to tell you to start thinking about going to sleep? That kind of stuff.
Oh, tell me when to get tired, phone.
I'm not even kidding around. That's a feature.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
But in one way, it's like really insidious almost, and like control, like really like intrusive by design. But in another way, it's just like if you're the person that's in charge of like this part of the product and the details and the features, and you're charged with like making it better, and it's like, okay, well, let's add a feature where it asks you when you'd like to go to bed, and like what your goals are, sleep, and like let's add all these things that all the experts keep. So in fairness, they're just trying to make the product better, I guess, but it's
they're
also
out of problems
at the same time. Yeah. Making it, just inviting you to give more and more of your, just life over, You know?
Yeah.
Then it's like if you wear your Apple Watch to sleep, you might as well. It doesn't matter. They already know.
So I don't know, Manny. I'm not sold on my decision.
Are you gonna switch back?
I mean, it's past the 2 week,
Oh, okay.
It's like a 2-week period that you get to decide.
Oh, that'd be fun if you went back and you're like, I'd like my Pixel 2 back.
I still have my Pixel 2.
And they bring it back out. They bring it back out to you like, we had this up on the wall.
Yeah, no, it was like an antique.
Yeah, exactly. Here's an artifact, y'all.
We had it on eBay, in a special section.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll stay away then.
I have a really annoying thing about my iPhone. It somehow I connected it to my office, like customer database file or something like that, or my Outlook, and at some point someone else had imported a bunch of names and addresses that where this spreadsheet, this database was all caps. So I had this thing where like if I start typing someone's name, chances are in these thousands of names that are all caps, it will like autocorrect to all caps. So it's like people think I'm yelling at them, Like I'll text something to Jane, but it'll auto cap it to Jane, like auto cap Jane, like,
right?
But nothing else. And it's like you got to go back and correct that shit. Eventually, it does learn not to, but man, like. And if you have strange names, so if you misspell something, it just like replaces what you've misspelled with like some strange name in all caps, of course. So
I did appreciate when my Pixel learned to capitalize another one. And it just had the A too. Like it knew I liked that and I was using it. Yes.
Little weird things that people in like the autocorrect that I wonder if they're manipulated in some way.
They are by these damn teenagers. They're fucking with us, man.
Probably. I noticed on like if I'm often like, in regards to my kids, like Chick-fil-A, right? When I text Chick-fil-A, like it doesn't autocorrect it to the correct spelling, which is I'm not really sure what it is all the time, but you'd think that, it's a, huge national brand. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't. Apple always leaves any kind of misspelling or autocorrects like one part of Chick-fil-A, like the 3 syllables to something else. So I don't know. Yeah, I think we should be done talking about that.
Yeah, phone gripes.
Massive first world problem.
You got any more? Yeah, no, okay.
No, that's all. Manny, tread carefully.
All right,
about it.
Yeah, probably. I'll just avoid it for now.
You just got to turn all that shit off.
Get some other opinions too, because I think I'm in the minority.
You do seem to have like a difficult time interacting with technology. I've noticed.
I do.
Hung out, so
I'm screwed for getting older.
Ouch.
I don't know what I'm gonna do as I get older. I might just have to chuck it and be like Adrian Curry and move to Montana.
That's always an option. Get yourself an old-fashioned line.
Yeah, like and a mountain man.
Yes.
Like carry you up a mountain.
Yep.
Go fight bears.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see where the wind blows. Because I'm not going to be able to keep up as I get older, I don't think.
Okay. Well, all right. So if we're done with all the phone travails of Jane and then Manny. One time I almost thought about getting a Windows phone.
Oh, wow. That's short-lived.
I went to the Windows store. I was like, what in the world? Yeah. Just the lure of having one account, for everything, because I'm using all Office, Microsoft, all that stuff all the time. But no, it's terrible. Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna. So Manny, you've got a life update or kind of some rough news, man. It's kind of a tragic story. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, the creamery at the farm that, employs me and my coworkers and provides fresh raw milk and cheese and butter to a lot of California burned down over the fucking weekend. It was kind of strange. Like, I'm a bit of a late to the party in certain aspects when it comes to events of the day, because I wake up at 3, I'm at work by 4, I'm on the road by like 4 something most of the time. I don't know what the fuck's going on in the world until later on that day. And
yeah. Yeah.
I was down in San Diego Saturday morning. It was fucking beautiful out there. I had some awesome tacos. Great. The thing about San Diego, I gotta mention, beautiful neighborhoods, beautiful houses, beautiful scenes, terrible fucking surface streets. Like they're in some of the roughest conditions I've ever been. And this is coming from someone that's been like in parts of LA and like Simi Valley and all the parts of the San Fernando and San Gabriel Valley that have that. No, this like San Diego roads are awful. I don't know what's going on down there, man. So
why would that be? I don't know.
Maybe misuse of taxpayer money. We never know. But it was around like 11:30 noon, and we get a text from the boss. We have the group chat for all the employees down here. He's like, team, as you may have heard. I was like, man, I heard, what the fuck's happening? And then broke the news that the Creamy burned down. Animals are fine. And they recently,
that's good.
Yeah, as of yesterday, they secured a new building. So production has begun, and we will be delivering fresh new product by the 20th.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Did they determine cause of fire?
No, that's still under investigation.
So just was it under construction?
No.
Were they okay? I heard someone told me that like the leading cause of fire is just being under construction, a building under construction. Yeah, I thought that was really
like contractors or whatever. That's what happened with the Notre Dame chapel, right? They were just doing construction work or whatever.
Is that chapel still on fire, by the way? Never happened with the Notre Dame thing.
No idea. They are right now. They are arguing about the plans to rebuild. I guess, of course, somebody wants to change something. That some people say is we should change it for modern times, and some people say no, you should not. And
it's historical, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and all that stuff. So yeah, they're in that. That's where they're at. I think they had I think part of that story was they have like an insane amount of money donated from around the world to fix this building too. Like incredible amount of money. Yeah.
It's strange considering that, taxes, they don't, churches, they don't really, they're tax free. So they should have enough cash to just.
It's going to have a roller coaster and putt.
Hell yeah. I'm going to go. Let's go, guys.
The Mall of Notre Dame.
We're going to try to attract more Catholic churches plan for a revival.
Yeah. It's like you're rebrand. Like this is where Mickey lives when he comes over to France.
For sure.
Anyway, that's rough, man. So I guess that's a pretty quick turnaround then. Good thing there's another facility, I guess, or something.
Good thing they were able to secure a new facility, man, because it was looking a bit rough there.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Like, is there just like a backup, milking?
No, there was just
or just like another facility that just wasn't in use at the time.
All they had was the one creamery and bottling facility. So yeah, they had to scramble to find a new place, get recertified, all that stuff.
What about like how many cows are we talking about? That make the raw milk.
400 and some odd cows.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they also got their goats for the goat cheese and goat milk.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So it was an interesting little turn of events. It's like, dude, that sucks. It also happened like at 3 a.m. So it was very bizarre. So I don't know.
Well, you still have people still did it affect anyone's job? So you guys all
that's the great thing about all this unfortunate mess. But gotta keep going, gotta keep moving.
Yeah. Well, did they have inventory built up that kept going,
also went up.
Like at some point, or is everything just are they out? So like they make fresh raw milk, if everybody, they stop production, and then how long until they're just out of anything to deliver, period.
Yeah.
How long? Like they're just out of product within a couple days, or?
Yeah, because it's usually a 2 to 3 day turnaround from the milking that it's up to the shelves.
Okay. So damn.
We're talking about fresh, man. Super fresh.
Yeah.
I like the raw butter.
Yeah, dude. That market down the road from you guys, from your spot, they carry a lot of our stuff. So,
What's the benefit of it being raw?
Less, what is it? They don't fuck with antibiotics or growth hormones or any weird, what is it?
It's tastier.
It's tastier too. Yeah. In the
Well, the cow that's organic, but like raw, like not going through all the processes. It tastes better.
They
yeah.
don't pasteurize.
There you go.
You don't get that
what-
like you don't get that milk skin like Rob was talking about.
No,
All right. Just
None of
making sure.
for
Making
sure.
if
Are
I
you
ever come across, have the thought to buy some raw milk.
have you had bad experiences with milk skin before, Chris?
Just hearing the story that Rob told about milk skin.
Okay.
That was pretty bad.
For sure. Yeah.
Just knowing that, I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
Now I'm shooken up again.
It's all right. Compose yourself and let's move on to the next story, Chris.
Well, I got into a Twitter feud. It's pretty interesting. Lead into another topic.
You and your feuds, man. Can't you go a day without getting into one?
It's just so bizarre. Well, yeah, I go plenty of days. Thank you. Just like a harmless comment. So let's see. So here's how it starts. It starts with Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, as Trump has called her.
Right.
Have you never heard that before?
I did, yes.
I think he
No,
said
I
it,
like
then he
that.
stopped saying it. He kind of stopped saying it.
Oh God.
Maybe for good reasons.
It's like, oh, back off.
Yeah. She does some Twitter video or some video about, attacking Kroger, for price fixing and blah, 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 or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, all right. I didn't really think that much of it. I like Kroger. I shop there. It's good location, good value to me.
Right.
Yep. So then I see some guy commented back saying, Kroger's profit margin was only, 2.5% last year, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, that's kind of misleading because 2.5% it's thin, but it's, also $1 billion, because they do so much volume and they're huge, it's huge national grocery chain. They own all kinds of brands too. So I made a comment to that effect, basically saying I said something like, it's funny, when it's finances and COVID, when they want to, they hide the real number. Like if they tell you a percentage, it's, ask what the real number is, because it's probably really big, or if they tell you the real number, it's, or if they tell you it's, tripled, what was the original number? What was the end number? So just kind of like, my comment was just about the, kind of the tricks that people play in presenting percentages and real numbers. And so then people just started attacking me because I guess they figured, well, the guy that I was responding to was, having a go at Elizabeth Warren, who everybody hates, and reacts to. And so they just assume, I guess I like her. I think she's great. I think she's an idiot, complete idiot. But I also don't think that Kroger is, looking out for everybody. They're a huge company.
Right.
Looking out for their shareholders.
Yeah. And it's like, well, your profit margins are thin, but when you dominate and you're allowed to dominate, you're allowed to acquire and put all the smaller chains out of business. It's like, you're kind of setting up things where your margins are low, but you're kind of guaranteed shitloads of revenue. So I just started responding, but I think the last tweet was, that I got on this whole chain, like 36 hours later was, you won't be happy until all businesses are operating at a loss. Like
don't put words in my mouth.
I mean, that's kind of like, I was kind of having fun with it a little bit because people were coming at me from, that's what happens on Twitter. Like people come at you from all these different angles, like imagining things that you said, because that's what some other person said, last week, or that's what their like imaginary liberal, thinks, in their head, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, I don't really disagree. Like, I think Kroger should try to dominate, but I just think, we shouldn't fool ourselves.
Right. That's the kind of the big thing. It's like, it's okay that they do this.
Of course,
you shouldn't expect anything different. And just be aware. Don't be mad. Just be aware.
It's just funny because the knee-jerk reaction by, conservative people, so-called, and I should say the so-called people that the free market people, because that's in their bio, like free markets and, constitute, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, they hate Elizabeth Warren so much that when she criticizes Kroger, they're like fucking Star Wars fanboys, like rescuing running to the defense to rescue Kroger. And I'm like, that's brilliant. I mean, I'm like applauding Kroger because that's why they run all like the ads, they run the ads that show like really friendly, good looking people stocking the shelves, like welcoming you in because they love you, and like, you're just so welcome here in our stores. And, we love you, customer, because because you do their bidding, meanwhile, like Kroger and all their executives and the donations and all that stuff, they pretty much align with Elizabeth Warren, which is fantastic. And I point that out and people, like just their heads are exploding, because it's like, I'm just like, dude, she like, Kroger and Elizabeth Warren are usually best friends. Like you're just being, you're being manipulated, you're being fooled. And you're also like helping Kroger, like you're helping Kroger's marketing team. Like you're out there defending this corporation that, my Kroger, and I'm really happy about it. If you shop there and you use your card, then when you go to the gas station, you can earn like up to like $1 off per gallon of gas. You know what I mean? And the reason they do that is because they, not because they love me getting gas cheap. They do it because the convenience store that has the gas station, across the street can't compete with that. They can't, like, at all, So it's like they want to drive them out of business. And it's like, that's okay too,
Yeah. You benefit.
But anyway, it's just funny, like the knee-jerk reaction against the crazy liberal lady by the free market people was to basically defend the corporation that aligns with the crazy liberal lady, supports all the vaccine mandates, was salivating at all these, like shutting down everybody except for Kroger and Target and Walmart and the big boxes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So yeah. Anyway, that was kind of like, and then that kind of touches on this topic, this notion, this term that's come about the last couple of weeks because of Joe Rogan's podcast with that doctor when he said mass formation psychosis. Are you familiar with the term?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
I listened to that interview. I listened to both the doctors he had on that were kind of making waves.
I actually haven't listened.
I didn't listen to I didn't listen to the McCullough one.
Okay, that was the first one, I think, and then he had, I don't remember what order they were in. Malone, okay. That's right, Robert Malone, and then McCullough.
Oh, I'm sorry, Malone was this. I think Malone was the last one.
Yeah,
I think Malone was the last one.
Yeah, everyone's kind of pushing back on that term, and I'm not sure where
it's new. I understand. It's not. It's not really
feel
like an official thing.
I do feel like there is something spiritually broken in this country. Maybe it's because maybe it's only online that people are spiritually broken. But it is like it. I can't. I mean, I'm also living in LA, and they card you for they like want your Vax card to eat inside, to go to the movies, and it's like I have a physical reaction to this. Like
oh my God.
And I become a Karen, and I like fight. I like push back, even if they're low on the totem pole. Like I will say to them, how do you feel about being deputized? Like, how do you feel about this? And
it's been a while since I've hung out with Jane, so I kind of want to hang out with her just to see this in action.
I get salty. Yeah, I will. And I went to see Dune last night, which maybe we can touch on later. So
I want to get Jane really drunk and go. I want to come out there, get a Vax card, counterfeit one, get Jane really drunk, and then go to one of these clubs and just be like, have her, mouth. I'll be like, you think you're big with that clipboard?
So okay, my friend and I go. So he has a fake card. He's not vaccinated. He won't get it. So he's also wearing like a shirt that says red pilled, but it's pretty small font. So I don't think anyone like picks up on it. And so we go, and they ask for, when we get the tickets, they ask for our cards. And I'm like, so I do the whole, she's like a teenager. So I know she's not like in charge, and I try to keep, so I say,
we called her a bitch once.
So I told her, and y'all can come at me. I don't care. Because I'm like, how do you feel about being deputized to have to check people's, like, she's like, well, at first it was a little nerve wracking because, people were, fighting us about it, but it's better now. And I'm like, well, I'm the fighter. I looked at her. I just
she thought you were like asking in concern, like as you were, showing real concern for her, concerned. Not contempt. Okay.
She didn't get the fact, like using the word deputized, but she was young. So I was like, yeah, I'm that girl. I'm the fighter. I think this is horrible. I think it's terrible. And I told her, I was like, you know what? If you believe in the cause, you shouldn't be nervous. You should feel good. You should feel strong. You should stand on that. And I was like, own it if you really believe in it. But then I added, if you are a good person, you should feel a little gross about this.
Well, what if she was like, well, if you're a good person, you should feel a little gross about this because you're
right. I know,
you're complying.
It didn't come out. It probably wasn't the most effective wording, but I tried.
You're all complying. Come on.
I don't have the time to like give a full spiel and like tap into their,
You shouldn't be in a position where you should have to sacrifice your like livelihood or like half your life to like fight city council over this bullshit. But I mean, it's rough because, like everybody, that's everybody's complying, like in the places where they're like, keep turning the screws, people keep complying.
And I was like, that's why I was like, if you keep, she probably doesn't quite understand at this point with, she doesn't know much different.
She's young, you said?
She must have been like late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of ties, if we jump forward a little bit, that ties into one of the stories I shared with you earlier, the story about all the really crazy COVID policies they're putting in place on college campuses. And the kind of the part of that story, and there's just, maybe I'll read a couple later, but the part of that story is, these crazy policies. But to me, the interesting part is the kids, the people that the policies are being put upon, and kind of their unique position they're in of kind of, vulnerability or like new independence. And the story I shared with you is about, these practices in Ivy League schools and like Georgetown,
well, they have to they have to toe the liberal side, right? Like they're supposed to be the ultra woke. And we've basically said like the stricter you are on COVID, the more liberal you are, the more strict you should be on COVID. Like those things are just synonymous with each other at this point. So they have to go that route.
Oh, I get it for sure. But it's like, just think about what it's doing to those kids, and then,
they don't care about the kids. You understand? They do not.
I know they don't care about the kids. I'm thinking about what it's doing to those kids, and like say, fast forward 10 years, and now those kids are in government. Because these are thinking about Ivy League schools. The way it works in America is those kids eventually graduate, they become lawyers, they work at the law firms in DC, and they work at the lobbyist firms, and they write policies, and they kind of are very, they're kind of collectively, they're very influential. And then some of them run for office and are really, really influential, as individuals. And just this mentality, because they're kind of going away from home, and, maybe they're affluent and they've got this great future, but they're still like 17, 18. They're going away from home for the first time. They're nervous, right? They're being put into these new socially difficult situations. Most of them, and, kind of what made me think about it was just they're complying.
Right.
There's
so
some putting up a
carry
fight.
That forward when they go out into the real world.
Right. And some of them, they're okay with it. I got to imagine, because in some ways I think about myself at that age. I went away to school. I was like 3.5 hours away from home. And, it's just all new people. Right. So some of them may be okay with these rules and kind of put up with it. And they don't realize like they don't realize it because they don't have the experience to put it all in context of like, what does this really mean? Like when I think it was Princeton, where even if you're fully vaccinated, the students they're not allowed to leave the county. So it's like, weird stuff like that, right? And it's like, so you got these people, these kids, they're young, they're impressionable, they're vulnerable, they're kind of nervous. Some of them don't want to be the life of the party. They're kind of okay with, a little isolation, more than kids that went to Florida State, want to party. So, because we're talking about like Ivy League schools. So, and then they carry that forward and they forget the part where they kind of liked it, and in the future, they remember it as just something they had to go through and it wasn't that big a deal,
Right.
and it was okay. We talk about so much about like how this affects elementary school and like early childhood development and all that, but it's like these kids, and I don't know. That's just my kind of perspective on it. Thinking about like how it affects their thoughts about, will it make them way more, way more willing to pull the trigger on future pandemic shutdowns, lockdowns, whatever, government jumping in, government intervention.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of Justice Sotomayor's.
Yeah, they're gonna remember it as something they went through with their classmates, and that the Great Society protected them, and now we're the Great Society, and we're going to protect, everybody, and just it's just a weird time for those kids, Just imagine that age.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not ready for them to take over the world. I'm scared for I feel like I'm an old geezer here. So it was like what Dan Crenshaw on a podcast, and they listed off his history. They meant I did not realize he was 2 years younger than me. And I was like, oh, hell to the no. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I am not ready for a president that is younger than me. No.
Yeah, well, you know what? Oh, this might touch on to something, but so from my perspective, well, I just immediately made sports analogies because for me, I equate that to I'm watching sports and I'm just like, this quarterback, he's 25, like this Lamar Jackson for the Ravens, he's 25 years old. I'm like, shit. Like
you're betting money on these like kids
like that dude. I'm like I'm twice as old as that dude, and I love him. I'm like developing feelings for this guy. I'm like, damn, he's really young. That's kind of crazy to think about, because like when I was first like, my first idols in NFL were like, obviously much older than I was. So
yeah.
Now it's like, holy shit, I'm getting old. These guys are young.
Get used to it.
Yeah. Well, no, I've been getting used to it for a long time. Now it's just hitting you.
Yeah.
Kind of like what the Adams theory, we were talking about Adams theory about, what men getting used to failure
at a younger age.
At a younger age, and Adam saying that women don't get used to failure until later in life, maybe, or I don't know.
Oh, yeah. About, now women are being told they can do anything they want and they should, and now we're expecting
that's somewhat new, right? Okay,
right. Now if we don't do everything, then we feel failure, and men have always had to kind of go that be successful route, so they've had that pressure.
Yeah, I think it's like, or just men kind of find the order of things real quick. Like from an early age, you get to school and you like what school age children do. It's like they quickly figure out who's the fastest. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Right.
Somehow at least the boys do, maybe the girls. Cause I remember there was a girl named Claire that was the fastest kid in our class in like the second grade. But it's usually the boys, and they figure out real fast, real quick, who's the fastest. And there's no argument about it. You know what I mean? It's like,
who's the smartest, who's the dumbest.
They figure out all this stuff really quick.
Yeah.
Because we put them in sports and whatnot, and there's no style points at all. It's just like, no, you are not. There's no beauty is in the eye of the beholder or anything. It's just like, no. He's bigger than you. He's taller than you. He's faster than you. He's better at you. He
very
scores more goals. Yeah. And women maybe kind of get into more subjective things,
right?
Style points, things like that. And
yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know how to break that one down really.
I haven't really thought that much about it since since initially heard Adam talk about it, but that's a good one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
tough. I was saying we were arguing about whether it's harder to be more confusing, I should say, not harder, confusing to be a man or a woman these days. I think it's way more confusing to be a woman.
I was willing to give that to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was willing to give that to you. I would have said man like 10 years ago. But
yeah,
we'll give it to you now. Yeah.
Much deliberating.
Fine. You win. You're the most confused sex.
Yeah. Well, it's not that we're actually confused in our heads. It's just confusing. Like, do you know what women are supposed to do? Like, do we know? Like, does society know what we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah. Well, we're having a meltdown because our society has been telling everybody what they're supposed to be doing for a long time. And like people are starting to kind of break out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that kind of brings some pressure where like anybody can do everything. And you're just like, like getting up in the morning and going to work, put in 40 hours. My son's watching some POS YouTuber kid, fucking scream in his microphone, scream, smash that like button in his microphone. I'm like, he's like, tomorrow we're going to buy a Lamborghini and destroy it. So keep smashing that like button.
We're looking at video games and Twitter feuds for some meaning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
purpose.
I had to own some cons that were trying to own some libs that thought I was a lib. That was, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Lib.
Like, it's just, that was nuts.
I gotta say, speaking about being a confused man or woman, let's move on and talk about Licorice Pizza because there's some weird shit going on in that movie.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you got some movie reviews. I had never heard of this before an hour ago.
Really?
So you guys are gonna tell me about it?
All right, it's another Paul Thomas Anderson movie. Boogie Nights, all that shit. So it has that feel to it. I personally thought if the whole movie, I felt like it was a gangster movie without all the violence that a gangster movie comes with, because it was just this kid that was always up into like some weird scheme, and he hits on this chick that was there with the photo company taking photos of all the kids for the yearbook or whatever the fuck that they do at the beginning of the year, and he essentially hits on her and they develop this relationship. I don't know what a situationship, more like it, because they
didn't really hook up.
No,
there was just like what are they? Where are they going? What's their journey? Also, let's clarify the big elephant in the room is that he's a 15-year-old boy and she's a 25-year-old woman.
That's why the whole movie I was like, what's happening?
Coming of age story.
And they don't even they just kind of gloss over that. It's never even, it's just made to seem, oh, okay, yeah, that's just, that's
normal.
what it is.
Back in the 70s.
Very normalized. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, you said Boogie Nights. I was going to ask. This is 70s, 80s kind of
70s Valley, San Fernando Valley.
Cool.
Yep.
And one of the reviews I said is a total love letter to the San Fernando Valley. I was like, who the fuck would write a love letter to that fucking piece of crap location?
I would not call it a love letter. I would say it's nostalgic. Maybe if you grew up in that time, I could see.
Definitely.
I didn't, obviously, but I could see how it would trigger that. It definitely captured that 70s androgynous style. No one was attractive in that movie. Like they were not.
70s were a tough time. 70s were, I was born in 1972. So it's like my early childhood was the 70s, and it was it's real weird, man. Like that was the Bee Gees era. So like you're a boy, like you're wearing like Keds and like tube socks with stripes and like sports, and then you see like some, like literally we had a neighbor, he drove a white Stingray Mustang. No, I'm sorry, a white Stingray Corvette, and he wore like these white bell bottoms and like he looked like a BG. It was, I mean, it was
Maybe he was in a
incredible.
Bee Gees tribute band.
He might have been, but he'd pull up in this white Corvette, like, you know, like you can look it up, like that 70s style Corvette. And it's like, damn, he's like, it's like the music, like Staying Alive would start playing, you know, as he walked to his door. Anyway, he has like a weird, really weird time. And like, I don't look back on it fondly at all. Like,
I don't blame you.
Weird, like perm, like hairstyle.
It did not age well. The 70s have not aged well.
Gas crisis.
Yeah. Kind of touched on all those things, but I just didn't find it. I mean, I'm gonna put in a few spoilers here, I guess. Just
spoil away.
Whatever. You guys can. It's not really a plotty movie. It's kind of a journey. So I feel like there's less of a spoiler factor. But so at one point she decides, she goes, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. And goes like the adult path and works on a local political mayoral campaign.
That was the best part.
And it was like, oh, that makes good. She's 25. She's like kind of developing a relationship with a guy in that office. And you're like, that would make sense. Good. Okay. You know, I was expecting kind of like a La La Land type of ending.
Right.
And then she just, because she finds out, you know, the guy running for mayor is gay. And I guess this was based on a true story. This was the guy was like actually the mayor or running for mayor or whatever.
I didn't know that part.
Okay. Yeah. And so, you know, he's got a partner that has to stay hush hush, and they're out to dinner, and he calls her up to go join them at dinner and was like, I need you two to leave together so that we don't look like a couple. And so that triggered her to be like, I don't want to be a part of this. And then she runs back to the 15-year-old to sell pinball machines. And his next silly big idea. So
that was the guy would go from scheme to scheme. Just like, I'm telling you, it's like a gangster movie without the violence. They even have that stupid argument where it's like, well, if it wasn't for me, you'd still be stuck in that job. Da, 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 da. It's like, really? It kind of reminded me too of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, because it was the same scenario, just flipped back. It was flipped. It was like, it was the older dude hitting on the teenage girls. Like, this is what Fast Times is about, I guess.
Well, in fairness, and back then that was glossed over.
It was
like that he was like a 30-year-old dude.
It was literally like they centered around that in the first 5-10 minutes of the movie. It's like, I'm gonna change this. So I don't know if you're a fan of 70s or the Valley, Licorice Pizza, I guess, but I don't know.
I mean, I will say I'm still thinking about it. Like it's thought provoking. So there's something to be said there, but it was kind of long, and it kind of was, I was like ready for it to be over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Is it cool to recognize the places that I guess that the sets were took place on?
A couple spots but that looked vaguely familiar, but I didn't know. I didn't really feel like super connected watching, even though I live here. Like, I haven't been here that long. So
right.
But they mentioned places, I guess, that maybe sounded familiar, but overall it was kind of bizarre. And it was a little what do you call it? Statutory rapey.
Yeah.
Without like kind of,
but in the good way.
Because nobody really gets statued on, so it's all right.
Right. There wasn't anything there. I don't think there were really any sex scene. There was nothing
aside from the flashing. You know, that was probably like the most like
flashing. I don't remember that, but
she goes over to his house and she's like, "You want to see my boobs?" And he's like,
"Oh, right."
He tries to get fresh with her. He's like, "Could I touch him?" And he slaps him and he leaves.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of two things. One is there was a TV show called The Other Guys, I think. It was a spoof. It was kind of a spinoff maybe of, The Good Guys or something. It was Tom Hanks' son and Bradley Cooper as cops, but it was set in Dallas.
Oh, I think was this like a Fox TV show or something?
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty entertaining, but it was kind of cool because they were always going to places that, you know, I've lived here long enough where it's like, oh, okay, I know that place, or I know that highway, or that where those highways intersect. And then the movie, this movie kind of sounds like it the good guys or something with who's the guy from the Notebook? The dude
Ryan, was that
Ryan.
Ryan Felipe, or was it the other Ryan Reynolds? I forget.
No, the other Ryan.
I know there's so many
The
Ryans.
the Notebook guy.
Yeah, that Ryan dude. Anyway, the dude from Drive. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, what the hell's his name?
That's gonna kill
Gosling.
it.
There we
Gosling.
go. Gosling.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, listener. Okay, good. I'm just gonna drive our listeners nuts.
It's Felipe. Felipe. By the way, Ryan Felipe is the guy that his name.
I don't think they'll care.
No, okay. So yeah, Ryan Gosling, and shoot, whatever. Russell Crowe. And it's kind of like a detective buddy cop movie. And it's pretty fun. And it's really interesting. It's set in the 70s, 80s, and like kind of circle, there's some touches on the porn industry a little bit and some corruption. And it's like you don't really have to follow it. Like it's like Jane said, it's not plot heavy. It's it's just kind of fun, and interesting, and like just unique situations, and like a kind of a period piece too. So sounds good. Check it out
for sure.
What other movie? Jane, you asked if we had seen Dune.
Yeah.
And we understand that you've seen some science fiction movies recently.
Did this surprise you?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm always blanking on all your movie discussions. That's how I was.
Yeah. Like, well, now you've seen one Marvel movie.
Yeah, I was more surprised by
from
that.
0 to 1.
I know. I saw Spider-Man. It was actually really good.
You enjoyed it?
This is the recent. What's the recent one called? Far From Home or Homecoming?
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Yeah.
It
was well done. It was fun. It was fast paced. It was,
Damn.
Now you see why like people really enjoyed a lot of the Marvel movies. They just kind of
they're not all like that.
They just move. Yeah, I know they're not. I don't know. I haven't seen the Eternals yet.
I heard this one. I heard Spider-Man No Way Home was better than average.
Okay, I've heard the same thing.
Eternals
they're
was
all
really
like
slow and boring. So
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I'm not really.
Don't watch it. Don't watch
Not
it.
in a hurry. Yeah.
But what'd you think about Dune?
Well, yeah. So I just saw it yesterday. After my sassiness about the Vax cards, and yeah, it was. So I knew what to expect going in. Like I knew it was another one of those like not super plotty, not a lot of plot twists, just like a kind of a character journey. So I think that helped me. If I hadn't known that, I would have been like, oh. But my friend I went with is obsessed, and this is like his 6th or 7th time watching it.
God damn, I would have gone that many times to watch it.
I know, that's what I saw it after.
Max,
I was like,
especially that it's streaming.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I'm glad I saw it, but I don't need to see it again. That's for sure. I mean, there's some interesting themes in there.
Have you ever read the book?
No, no. So I was curious because I had heard so much about it. So I was like, all right, I'll go. And
so you liked that it was a character journey? Like what did it touch on any like big themes, like the archetypes and all that kind of stuff, those themes?
Yeah. Geez, I don't even know what to call them, but there's like the main Timothée Chalamet character, and he kind of starts off as like a schmucky, scrawny kid, and he sort of grows throughout the movie into I don't know if warrior is the right word, but he's like realizes how to be one with the desert. All the desert stuff was kind of interesting, like how they couldn't be out for a while in the day, like you had to be protected from the sun because of how hot it is. And
I just hope there's more spitting in part 2. Needs more spitting.
So did you both see it, or just you, Chris?
I've seen it.
Okay,
I think Manny's seen it.
I watched it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
If I had to vote, like if people vote with their actions and movies, like do I watch it again? I think I watched it twice. I think, and neither time did I watch it and sit all the way through. So that tells you something.
You really have to pay attention. There's a lot of dialogue that's sort of important to.
I know. I think I felt like because I knew that it was going to end halfway through,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though they hadn't announced that there was going to be, part 2, which I hope is, the part 2 of 2. I was like, okay, well, I'm not really, I'm like 2. They haven't even agreed to make part 2. So like the sense of urgency for me to get through to like the midway point of this.
It's not there.
It's like, come on, like, I don't know. But I did enjoy it. I mean, I liked it more than I thought I would. Couldn't get into the first one. Maybe if I read the books, like it would mean something more to me. Like couldn't really. There are other science fiction movies, like big movies like that, where the characters kind of have a bigger impact or something, or just kind of feel something more for it. But I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Right on.
I liked it. I'm really looking forward to 2-3 years from now when it comes out. When the end of it comes out, like awesome. Like
maybe Jane's friend will see it another 6 times by then.
Yeah, he probably will. We'll see.
Could you guys imagine watching any one movie that many times?
I will say I watched Chicago many, many times in the theater.
Okay.
There was something about that movie that I just thought.
No, Chicago's not a movie.
It's actually going to the theater, going to the theater to watch a movie that many times.
Gosh, I want to say 5-ish times.
Wow.
No, I can't imagine that.
Yeah, it was fun, dude. It won the Oscar that year. I was abroad, so I watched it. I think I saw it 3 times in the States, and then I studied abroad in Spain. And a friend of mine there was really into it too. So she and I went together a couple times because we were just like, this is so fun. And
did it have subtitles?
Just
kidding.
So
it was a topic last week.
Oh shit, it did?
No, wait, I'm trying to remember.
I'm sure it did.
Well, it was in. Did they do it in Spanish? I remember. Okay, when they started singing, I think it was in Spanish. No subtitles. So they dubbed it. They dubbed it in Spanish.
Okay.
But then when they got to the singing, they flipped to the actual singing and then had subtitles in Spanish.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's what I remember. Yeah. And then it was on my flights. I watched it on my flights. Like it was.
That doesn't really count. Although,
I didn't pay money, but
yeah. But then again, I don't know. You gave it your time. Yeah, that's a lot. No, I can't imagine going to the theaters. I have watched other movies, on TV way a lot.
Right.
Yeah, a lot. Like The Martian. I've seen that.
Avatar. No, wait, is it Avatar that you watched? There's one you talked about. You watched at night to go to sleep.
Oh,
the spacey.
Oh, Interstellar.
Yeah.
You said
that's
Avatar.
a good movie to fall asleep.
I know. I don't know what
too.
I was thinking. I knew it started with a vowel.
Well, it's okay. I'm going to choose not to be offended. Yeah, it's a choice. It's a choice, everybody.
Speaking of offending people, let's move on to the news, y'all.
Oh, yes. Okay. I got a couple stories here. I have, oh God, All right. So word on the street is that Meta/Facebook might be moving to Austin. They're at least expanding to Austin because they signed the largest ever lease, I believe, in downtown Austin. So we're going to have 33 floors, 589,000 square feet in a new, what will be the tallest building in Austin. And yeah, they initially expanded to Austin 10 years ago and they had just 7 employees, and now they have 2,000. And I was not clear how many more that this would add, but I feel like this is like on their way to Texas for good.
I think that Austin might be becoming somewhat of a tech center. Like that's, not
I think
that it hasn't been or it was, or interesting show like Halt and Catch Fire on one of the like obscure cable channels was about kind of the early Austin tech scene, and then it moved, and then kind of the end of that show was it moved out to California. But yeah, so some of that's coming back. I have a friend that lives in Austin, a friend from my hometown back on the East Coast. He lives there now. I think his wife works for the big, Google. and he implied something about, that Google was like, just sucking up people, like getting big and like just like kind of hiring everybody, like students, because they're like UT's putting out thousands of tens of thousands of graduates every year, and they're just like sucking up people. So might be just kind of a competitive move too, like just friendly atmosphere, friendly business environment, and also like maybe steady stream of people, college educated people.
Yeah.
So
They've somehow landed, Austin kind of landed itself as
have you been in the metaverse? Have you been in the metaverse, Shane?
No, I am not into this at all. Like I am very.
Can you see yourself?
No, I don't like this path we're going down. He creeps me out. Mark Zuckerberg, if you look at him, he's like, the soul has been sucked out of his body. It is creepy.
I don't think he had one to begin with, man.
I don't know. I was okay with him, but maybe I just came, or maybe I woke up and he was always like that. I don't know. But
it's weird how the character, however creepy or like, whatever he was in the movie, the social, what was it called?
Network.
Yeah.
Like actually makes Zuckerberg more likable. You know what I mean? Like Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of him, like,
was like kind of
makes him seem way more charismatic than he might be.
I don't want geeks ruling the world. I want true alpha males running the world. Like humbled alpha males.
Okay.
Not insecure, ego-driven geeks. This is a recipe for disaster.
I don't know. I think that kind of power corrupts no matter who it is. I don't know. I don't know. Do you have an example of like who would be a good steward of running the world as who would be a good tech oligarch?
Just well,
none of them, dude. Fuck that.
Other than Matthew McConaughey, of course. I don't know.
Strange choice, but all right.
I don't know why that popped in my head. But
Quana just told me to be careful. He is listening. Like,
hi, Quana. Shout out to Quana. Love you, girl.
Listening?
They all are, bro.
They all are. I don't care. What do I have to lose here?
Oh, yeah.
More control of your phone, and it's a shitty autocorrect.
Yeah, his algorithm right now is like, these people do not matter.
Wait. Quana said we want men with pots who don't cry. Did you mean clarify pots, Quana, if you can?
Men with pots who don't cry.
Yeah, we're gonna need more modern sayings.
So yeah, that's I'm increasingly averse to all the big tech companies. It's too much. It's overwhelming me, but that's also just me not being good with technology. So I'm slightly biased.
Have you seen this new crazy building yet, Chris? Are you anywhere near it?
No. Well, you know what? No.
Do you think you'll have any wheelings and dealings with them in the near future, given your
no.
Different sector?
Different sector. Yeah.
Okay.
I do see them, I see any conference, trade show, whatever I go to, Google's there. So if it's like a higher education, it's like, well, there's Google. This is what Google does in higher education. It's like K through 12. This is what Google does for K through 12.
Gotcha.
And it's like libraries. This is what Google does for libraries. Like just a lot of free stuff, like and it's like schools can't turn it down,
It's almost insidious.
Libraries are, just kind of, for example, like some libraries I talk to, they're thinking about, there's really just no reason for me to like keep paying Microsoft for Word and all those programs, because
Google has their own little,
people are getting used to using those, and Google is willing to practically give us Chromebooks to just hand out to people. Like,
here you go.
It's like,
it's part of the bigger nefarious plan.
Really. So the same people that are very much about privacy are just like, here you go. Like, let's let big tech just expand their dominance by accepting all these free things and
hearts and minds, man. They're like drug dealers.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we don't realize what they're doing, and it's
until it's too late.
or maybe we do, and it's just like, fuck it.
Right.
You can have all my pictures. Like,
take it all. I don't care. I don't even have an album. Store it in the cloud for me, please.
You mean you'll just back up my photos for the rest of the time? I don't have to worry about it, and just $2 a month for the rest of my life. And
like, gee, thanks.
Like, I don't ever have to worry about backing up my phone to my computer ever again. And then like, it's like, okay, here you go. Oh, here's all my kids too.
Be gentle with them, please.
Yeah, take good care of them. Ease them into the afterlife when they're like 170.
Are we even going to need phone numbers in the future? Like, can't we pretty much do what we need to do without phone numbers almost?
My son communicates with everybody through just a free child iCloud account.
Yeah.
His iPad. So that's his, he calls me and his mom and all that stuff. And
yeah, I think we're going to do away with phone numbers.
I hope not. I'm kind of old school in that sense. It's like, fuck that. Keep the phone numbers, keep the landlines.
Yeah.
Well,
let's not go total digital here.
That could be the next thing, because why do you have a phone number now? Because you have to use a carrier. Why do you use a carrier? Because you need to have
a data plan, right?
Data in between wireless spots you're on, but then, you may not need wireless spots anymore soon. And it's like you can opt into free Google internet or Wi-Fi everywhere.
So Quanta clarified men with pots. She did mean pots. It was not a typo. Okay. It implies like men who can cook.
Okay.
Men who know how to cook and don't cry.
Gotcha.
So I actually have I don't think cooking is inherently female. I think it's just kind of how
it's useful, it's handy.
Right. But I think it's just how the gender, whatever, husband-wife roles fell into place back in the factory days. It was like the man just went to the factory, so by default the woman cooked. But I don't think it's inherently some like female intuition skill, whatever.
Yeah. Next story, Jan.
Okay. Oh, I gotta get my phone for this. So I went Manny. I like browsed in
Hold on. We talked about the meta, whatever. I'm sorry, last week. That's the whole thing, the virtual. Do you think maybe part of the obstacle is the fact that you've got to put these fucking goggles on your head? You know what I mean?
Yeah. If we can get rid of the goggles and just make it, because remember,
is there something about that? Like, there's not that you want to be able to see your surroundings, but it's like you just know you look like a buffoon sitting there, like in your chair, like
it's an ordeal.
Nobody, when they take pictures of the guy, and all those compilations of people with VR goggles on, like falling down the stairs or like like punching their TV, because they're playing like Nintendo karate.
Yeah,
like you never look good. Like you never look like
no.
you always look like you're like just about to walk off a cliff. So I think that's an obstacle, but I don't know what else you would do.
Yeah.
Like, what else would you do?
Dan Dunn would talk about, he's like, it's such a production to put the the VR for the porn. Like, it's just like, it's really cool, but it is
lock the doors.
You gotta like set up, whereas,
make sure you like verify that your wife is at work. Like has parked and is at work and is not, coming back because she forgot something.
Nanny's not there that day.
Yeah, I think I've said it. Yeah, the VR that's gonna wreck some relationships.
So Jane, the thing with the phone.
Okay, so I went into old news. So the beginning of would sound like smog checks. This is from April 11th, 1951, the cover of the LA Times. Headline: Drivers face arrest if autos smoke. Police action against drivers of motor vehicles exuding smoke from exhaust pipes was authorized yesterday by the Board of Supervisors. The county governors, for the first time in the battle against smog, invoked a section of the state vehicle code, which provides that no motor vehicle shall be operated in a manner resulting in the escape of excessive smoke, gas, oil, or fuel residue. The county board ordered that deputies be appointed by the sheriff from among personnel of the Air Pollution Control District Office. Here, the deputies will be vested with arrest powers. Under state law, violators are subject to misdemeanor charges carrying penalties of a $500 fine or 6 months in jail. That's $500 in 1951.
They weren't fucking around, dude. Holy shit.
So sometimes when I feel bad about, I don't like how things are now, I'm like, well, it was kind of starting back then. There's stuff going on then too. So maybe.
Well, you can imagine if you were back then, if you were motor vehicle hesitant, like in these newfangled cars, and they're like part of the, they're just smoking a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome, but like they're smoking a lot. Like you got a lot of people, like a lot of old fogies, like really pissed off.
Yeah.
About these, as their horses shit in the street, like, just, yeah. I mean, the smoke would have been good to cover up that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wonder how they enforce this too. Like if there was like a smog patrol that would just chill out there on the roads, or if there was like a number to call, or I don't know.
Yeah, like can you report people and who knows?
Fuck that noise.
Do a little
Some
deep
Karens
dive
back
into
then. It was
Seriously.
also early smog checks,
Vintage
early air
Karens.
quality issues. Yeah.
vintage Karens.
Vintage Karens is good. Vintage Karens in
Gotta
history.
coin that one, Manny.
Really? There have been, for sure. Yeah. Like, remember like the whole the temperance movement, when everyone would, like run around, tell everybody to stop drinking.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. You can imagine like what was said. Like some of the comments that were made towards them.
One can only imagine. Anyway,
So
got it on the news.
So I found this one right before the show. So I didn't prepare. I took some pictures of another old article, and like the top got cut off, but it's from 1888.
Ooh.
And it says now I forget what it said. It's about the increase in the number of saloons. Like they're complaining about how many, there's like one saloon for every 300 people. So it says, the phenomenal increase in the number of saloons throughout the city during the past 3 or 4 months has caused no end of comment among the thinking men of both political parties. This increase has been without precedent since the advent of the Democratic police administration, and has caused no little alarm among the law-abiding portion of the population who see in this increase of drinking places and groggeries. By the way, I like the word groggeries. This increase in drinking places and groggeries, a great and constantly growing menace against the peace of the community. According to the city clerk, there are now about 200 saloons in the city of Los Angeles. There may be a few more, but for the sake of simplifying matters, it will be put down at 200 even. Like, this is the most biased article. I don't think they had like biased standards, unbiased standards in this type, but and they talked about like the licensing fees. Okay, it's on a basis of a 60,000 population. This would be one saloon for every 300 of the population.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Well, I live in so I get this weekly report, or part of the city of Frisco is like the closest like proper city here that I live near, right outside of. My kids go to the school district in Frisco, and every week this news article shows up in my like inbox or whatever, local news inbox about Frisco alcohol sales. So like that, for whatever reason, and then I see it shared, and it's like, for whatever reason, it's important. Like they track the sales from all the bars. I've seen many stories about they track. They're very careful about who can sell booze, and like not allowing like regular bars, like, or limiting like bars. Like you can have like a Dave and Buster's, but like Dave and Buster's needs to prove that, that alcohol sales are no more than X percent, of their overall sales. And it's like, they pay pretty close attention to that. So, and I get it a little bit, it's like, do you want central kind of city planning, where they kind of decide like this is going to be this kind of city, or where we're going to have this percent of like homes and businesses and strip centers, and this is anyway it's just kind of odd. It's still
they're
going on. They still track that kind of thing, and
they're trying to engineer it.
Yeah. So it's really more like the philosophical question of like, is that a good or bad? So I don't know.
Yeah.
These saloons are going to be the downfall of our civilization.
Yeah, they said so in 1888. So
well, you want to be careful, because then all of a sudden, like if you're not careful, because all this, someone open a bar with live music and it'll be really successful. And then all of a sudden, like that whole area is bars with live music. And it's like, holy shit, what? We didn't really, it's great and everything, but we didn't really, this is supposed to be, there's a park over there. There's a kid's water park right there.
It's a slippery slope. I get you.
And now it's a mecca for bike gangs, like whatever. Like this is not what we expected. So everybody likes predictable, right? Like you want to know, like I like predictable. I like to know when I'm going to interact with biker gangs.
You just pencil them into your weekly planner,
or like never. Like, I like to know when when like go places where I don't expect to run into any, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I hear you. Makes sense.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
So that's old news. Oh, I miss our old news segments.
Yeah. Manny's book is coming useful.
Hell yeah.
It's
I know.
Cool. It's very interesting to page through.
Robbie Robbie unfortunately has been
battling some impulsive diarrhea, an extreme, a severe case.
I thought he got caught up in an ivermectin scandal.
Yeah.
He was keystering some ivermectin to.
Oh, those shits.
It's unclear whether he was smuggling it somewhere,
hiding in his anal rectum.
It was unclear whether he was smuggling it somewhere or just that was like, his chosen application of that medicine. So
whatever the case, he'll be back next week.
No, I think he's moving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, moving. He's having a movement. Settle on that.
Oh, different kind of movement. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving dwellings, I think. I'm sure he'll fill us all in next week.
Yeah.
Probably. So,
in the meantime, you could reach out to us on Facebook, the Endless Ranters Facebook group. Hang out, chime in, crack wise with us, get to know the people that listen to our show. And if you want to take some shots at us, you feel free. I mean, also leave a review, comment, give us 5 stars, whatever the fuck, on iTunes. You could check out Robbie, our MIA member, at Robbie Spotlight, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, OnlyFans, all that shit. You can check me out, How We Figure, on Instagram, Twitter, and howwefigure.com. You can listen to my anime ramblings. Jane's Corolla Deep Dive coming soon. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I don't have handles yet. But
we'll definitely have you back on when it's launched.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm excited.
Of course. That sounds great. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah.
And I think it's needed. It's needed,
Yeah. Apparently they've had a few in the past that there's like an After Dark. I don't know. Gio kind of knew. I've talked to Gio a little bit. He knew, but he was like, yeah, I've gotten good feedback because I've got a few episodes recorded and I've had a few people listen. So I'm excited.
Fun.
It's fun.
That's fun.
Who doesn't like talking about Adam?
He's the man that brought us all together.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why we do this.
Right. So
exactly.
He's the man that will save our country. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you for having me on. This was really fun.
Of course.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, until next time, and come back again whenever you want.
All right.
The lovely and talented Jane. So thanks a lot. Right. This is Chris saying, get it on.
Get it on.
Get it on, everybody.
Men with pots, the cook in the woods.
And so many.
When is the last time that a man has fed you in the woods, Quana?
Like, that sounds kind of kinky, to be honest.
Last week.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Gotta.
Booyah. So many viable titles for this episode too, man.
Oh yeah. I thought of like 10 of mine. Now I've forgotten them all though.
That's all right. I wrote a few of them down.
What did you say? Vintage
Karen.
Karens.
Fuck, dude.
That would be fun to do. Like I wish I, like a deep dive on the greatest Karens in history, before they were Karens, before we knew what a Karen was.
Maybe that could be like an ongoing bit with us. An ongoing
That whole
segment.
thing, like, the temperance movement.
Yeah.
What were they called? Teetotalers or something?
I think it might. Yeah, I think it was that or
something like that.
Yeah, because they mentioned it briefly on Boardwalk Empire, and that was all about prohibition and shit.
Oh man, I love that show.
Yeah.
Did you watch that whole thing?
I did.
That was great.
It was a good time.
I was thinking about when I see our fellow Ace Hole and former guest Enoch. So I'm like Nucky.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I think I asked him, and he hadn't seen the show, but he was aware of it. The character Enoch, main character's name was Enoch, and his nickname was Nucky.
So weird.
So
I forgot to mention, I've actually seen Adam at all his Daily Wire shows.
No shit.
Yeah.
La Brea.
Brea.
Is that Brea?
La Brea is the name of a major street in LA, but Brea.
And the tar pits.
Yeah.
Oh, and a TV show, La Brea. That's why I said that. There's a TV show, if you didn't know about La Brea, the tar pits.
Oh yeah, is it any good?
Well, no. I did watch part of it just because I'm a sucker for like that kind of what if type of thing. But yeah, the La Brea tar pits fell through. And everybody fell in and was transported to Los Angeles 400 million years ago, something like that. So
fun.
But they didn't fall through to China. That you would expect. They fell through to another time. But they're still, I think I don't know. I watched like two and a half episodes, and of course there was going to become somehow they were going to communicate with the modern world. Somehow they were going to, communicate from Los Angeles 40 million years ago to today, because their cell phones still work. I don't know. It's ridiculous. So I don't know, it's kind of a gimmick. It's a gimmick show that could also be like, didn't Adam Carolla talk about that? Like in a movie, when you walk into the fake producer's office, you see posters on the wall. It's a TV show that could just be like a poster on the wall, insane premise that is a gimmick, and it's pretty interesting. The first 2 episodes, and you're just like, this is insane. How are they going to get back? How are they going to get back?
I was out near the La Brea tar pits by some late last year. I was like, what is it about this place that attracts people here? I don't get it.
I don't think I've ever been.
It stinks.
I don't have it on my to-do list either.
It stinks.
So
I've been there.
Why?
The museum that's next to it, I think, is interesting.
The Academy Museum. That's why I went there.
Interesting architecture, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Just to be flattering, the ceramic elephant that's in the tar pit.
That's drowning.
Not real convincing,
Yeah.
It's like, and the Fred Flintstone statue that's next to it. I'm just kidding. There's no Fred Flintstone statue, but it's just like, okay. But it is kind of a strange thing, right? Because there's no Dallas tar pits. There's not a lot of tar pits around the country, right?
I guess it's a blessing and a curse. Or how you look at it.
Yeah, or there are tons of them, and for whatever reason, Hollywood has really made La Brea tar pits special. But I don't think there are. So it is a strange thing. Or not. Or it's not. It's not.
All right, guys.
It's really not at all.
I gotta get going.
You got it, Jane.
Okay, Jane. Good to see you.
Guys.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
It's all that hot La Brea tar pit talk.
I know. I don't know. Usually that works on the ladies. I don't know.
Not tonight, man.
No.
It's all right. You tried. That's all that matters.
Well, let's see. I don't know. There's still people online watching this.
Are there? Hi to everyone that's still watching.
No, it's just people that haven't turned their computers off or like haven't closed down Chrome.
Word.
Yeah. Appreciate it though.
Yeah. I'll bounce too and get some dinner going.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. I'll see you
Cheers.
next week.
Yeah, man. Talk soon.